कि आज हम मिले हैं टू टॉक अबाउट ऑटिज्म, टू टॉक अबाउट अ टफ जर्नी यू बीन थ्रू. व्हाट डू पेरेंट्स डू, क्या करना पड़ता है या क्या करते हैं टू हेल्प अ चाइल्ड विद ऑटिज्म?
धीरे धीरे करके ना कुछ और सिम्टम्स नजर आने लगे हमें विच वर अलार्मिंग फॉर अस. फॉर एग्जाम्पल ही वाज रिसर्च करता था तो यही देखता था कि ऐसे बच्चों का फ्यूचर क्या होता, एंड इट वाज अ शॉक फॉर अस.
I was a topper, you know.
Yeah, both of you were academically very bright. Yeah.
Then
Went to a very renowned, I won't name the institute, but institute in Delhi.
Sure.
And there the counselor sat with us and she was telling us that your child has autism. He will never speak. He will never be independent in his life. You better learn the sign language so that you learn to communicate with him.
in fact, he was like a mother thing. Therapist used to work for 1 hour a day, but then rest 22-23 hours, जितने भी टाइम हमारे साथ होता. We was just started enjoying the journey.
Mind blowing. तो ये तो आपने इनोवेशन कर दी. It's almost like an invention. You researched, you experimented, you tried newer ideas.
Yeah, and from that idea, we developed near about 60 odd games for him. And आज की डेट में, couple of years back, we are so pleased to announce that we launched an online platform जहाँ पे पूरी दुनिया के बच्चे भी इससे बेनिफिट ले. तो मैं कभी किसी को धक्का दे दिया, सीट पे नहीं बैठना, थोड़ा भागना, वो धीरे धीरे करके सेटल हुआ.
Every problem that came in our way, we took it as a challenge. Children are not educated; they don't know much about it. That our workshop we organized to sensitize the teachers towards, what are the special needs of them. Most of the parents, डर लगता है कि
And that was the impact of that
नीव नाम रखा था हमने उसका वर्कशॉप. पेयर सेंसिटाइजेशन वर्कशॉप जो हमने किया है.
So autism एक ऐसी चीज है जिससे हमारे इंडिया के पेरेंट्स और दुनिया के पेरेंट्स बहुत स्ट्रगल करते हैं. मैंने इन द रीसेंट पास बहुत सारी मदर्स के साथ पॉडकास्ट किए हैं जिनके बच्चों को ऑटिज्म था और उन्होंने इससे कैसे डील किया. वन ऑफ द थिंग्स आई वाज कंफ्यूज्ड अबाउट इज के आई नेवर मेट अ फादर जिन्होंने अपने बच्चे के ऑटिज्म में बहुत ज़्यादा एंगेजमेंट किया है. बहुत सारों ने किया होगा, आई एम श्योर, बट आई हैव नेवर मेट वन. सो आई वाज वेरी एक्साइटेड when I got the opportunity of meeting a couple, the mother and father of an autistic child. So I'm privileged and thrilled to have in the studio today Rakhi and Bhushan.
Thank you.
जिनका एक 17 साल का बेटा है जो ऑटिस्टिक है, and we have the honor to learn from you about his journey and your journey and how have you done all this, how have you managed his journey. Right. So let's start from the beginning. कि कब पता लगा, कैसे पता लगा, और उसके बाद आपके इनिशियल रिएक्शंस क्या रहे, आपकी लाइफ में इसके साथ क्या हुआ?
Like any other parent, we were not prepared. So we had a love marriage, and we married early actually.
Yeah, in fact, we were pretty young. We were in class grade 6 when I first saw Rakhi and I fell in love with her.
ग्रेड 6 में शादी नहीं कराई होगी?
नहीं, obviously not. But I thought
You fell in love in grade 6?
Yeah, I fell in love, and
Wow.
I literally thought in grade.
Did you also fall in love in grade 6?
No, I had no idea.
She hardly knew me. She hardly recognized me.
अच्छा.
So, but I saw.
आपकी तरफ से you were fully on.
I was fully on, and I thought at grade 6, as a 11-year-old boy, I thought that one day I'm gonna marry her. Literally.
No way. In grade 6 you decided that?
Yes.
Wow. Rakhi ji, I want to see your picture when you were in grade 6.
Sure.
She must have been a really, she still is, but must have been a really good looking girl.
She was very cute, and she was very intelligent. She used to come first, I used to come second.
Oh.
I used to follow her in any case.
तो मोस्टली जो लोग सेकंड आते हैं फर्स्ट वाले से compete करते हैं कि मेरे को इसको हराना है. आपने बोला इसी की जीत में मेरी जीत है.
बिल्कुल. And then things progressed. I mean,
Sure.
that's a different topic altogether. But
Sure. And where were you studying, in Delhi or outside Delhi?
We were in Delhi only.
In Delhi. अच्छा.
And so things happened.
तो 6th में ये हुआ. This is interesting. Let's spend 2 minutes on this. So 6th में आपको प्यार हुआ, लेकिन उस प्यार का इजहार कब किया आपने? When did you express it?
Oh God, that was कितने साल बाद रखे?
I think we met after 7 years.
Okay.
और
तो मतलब स्कूल तो खत्म हो चुका था.
स्कूल खत्म हो
आज
तो डोंट टेल मी कि आप सेम कॉलेज में भी चले गए.
So we were together in the same school from 6th to 8th.
Okay.
And we never spoke. मतलब I was like monitor of the class, topper of the class, जैसे होते हैं.
ये तो देखिए भूषण भी he was doing well in class.
Well, but he was very shy.
अच्छा.
Very, very shy.
So I never saw him speaking, or we never spoke actually. तो मुझे ये सब के बारे
You
में
never
बहुत
paid
मालूम-
attention.
No, not at all.
और
तो
इतने सारे लड़के आपके लिए लाइन में लगे.
I was more like, into studies and all. So वो सब नहीं था, but I was bindas and
Sure.
open and, open to speak kind of girl. And he was very shy, corner में बिल्कुल, चुपचाप बैठने वाला बच्चा. चुपचाप बैठने वाले बच्चे के दिमाग में क्या चल रहा है वो किसी को भी नहीं पता.
सब सोच रहे हैं पढ़ रहा है पर वो नजर उसकी कहीं और है.
किधर है वो नहीं मालूम पड़ता. So after that we never met. After 8th standard he shifted school.
He shifted school.
हाँ, he
आपको
shifted
छोड़ दिया.
school.
और पेरेंट्स ने करवा दिया, आप करवा दिया.
अच्छा.
So he could not speak, whatever, for whatever reason. So I was in the same school, and then we never met. We met after, I think I was doing my PG. After I did my PG,
Oh.
and he was after doing his graduation, he was doing the job. So I studied in Amritsar. He was in Ludhiana, pass mein.
So this was another amazing factor. I changed my school. She also changed her school after class 10th, I guess.
हाँ.
And again we are in a school where जहाँ बीच में सिर्फ एक दीवार है. ये only for boys school, ये only for girls school. And we never knew for those 2-3 years that they are this close. नहीं
So
पता.
destiny was bringing you together again and again.
Again and again. Then
But
I got
आपकी shyness was holding you back again and again. Huh?
I never knew that she's there.
Of course.
Then I got an offer to go to Ludhiana for my job. She was in Amritsar. We again did not know that we are again, हम दोनों अभी पंजाब में हैं. इतने डिस्टेंस पे अपने को नहीं पता.
Right.
And one day छुट्टी पे मैं दिल्ली आया था. And I saw her at the bus stop. 703 नंबर बस का बस स्टॉप है वो. तो वहाँ पे मैंने इनको देखा. And I recognized her. I changed a lot. दाढ़ी वाड़ी आ गई थी, मोटा हो गया था थोड़ा सा. I was not that shy at all.
हाँ.
So she was doing a job in trade fair at that point of time.
अच्छा.
Then I approached her, met. वहाँ से फिर हम लोगों ने मिलना जुलना शुरू किया.
अच्छा.
And then finally we got married.
So the love started when you were like 10, 11, 12 years old.
Yeah.
And this is a time when how old were you?
23.
23. I was 23. She was
11,
22.
12 years later. ये तो बिल्कुल बॉलीवुड मूवी है ना?
बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें हैं वो उसके बारे में फिर कभी तसल्ली से बात करेंगे. It was
So
completely
11, 12 years later you saw her and you approached her.
yeah.
Okay. And you remembered कि ये वही लड़की है.
हाँ.
अच्छा.
I used to tell my college friends that there was a girl in class grade 6, 7, राखी नाम था. वो मुझे मिलेगी मैं शादी करूंगा उससे. I used to tell my friends.
And he achieved it. Not just optimistic. He's a doer.
Actually, I started believing in destiny and all after meeting him, because I never knew that we would be.
ये story सुन के तो anybody will believe in destiny.
Even when we never met for 7, 8, 9 years after school, and he used to tell his colleagues and college friends that I'll marry that girl. I'll marry
मेरे
that
स्कूल की
girl.
लड़की.
That I'll have an affair or I'll have something. I'm gonna marry that girl. So मतलब मेरे लिए भी जब मुझे बाद में पता चला, it's very shocking. How can I do that?
मतलब 10, 12 years में you must have seen hundreds if not thousands of girls and some must be really pretty. But आपका दिल अटका हुआ था राखी के ऊपर. Huh?
Yes.
Okay. And then at that stage you guys met
Yeah.
and it worked out.
It took some time. A few occasions we met again and again, and then I met her parents. She met my parents, and then finally the proposal. Interesting part was the proposal came from her father. So he approached me. He said, "Will you marry my girl?" I said,
It was actually a conspiracy.
अच्छा.
So my dad was a very strict father. And so I belong to a Punjabi family. He's Kshatriya. So वो वैसे भी when he always wanted to talk about कि marriage, there has to be marriage. I said, पापा शादी वादी होगी नहीं. My dad is gonna come after you and he'll kill you. So ये सब के बारे में मत सोचो. And he was like, नहीं चांस तो लेंगे यार. ऐसा नहीं है, चांस तो लेंगे. And I used to tell him stories about my father, कि how strict he is and whatever.
तो ही वाज ऑलवेज लाइक कि नहीं यार कुछ करेंगे. सो आई शेयर्ड विद माय सिस्टर अबाउट यू नो दैट यू नो ही वो भी मिलवा चुकी थी, मतलब घर पे. ही हैड मेट माय फादर अनऑफिशियली इन माय सिस्टर्स वेडिंग. तो यू नो एज माय फ्रेंड ही केम टू सपोर्ट इन माय सिस्टर्स वेडिंग. और तो मतलब फैमिली में मिल चुके हैं कि फ्रेंड है, उसका फ्रेंड है करके. Gradually I told my sister when she was getting married, she also got a clue, of course. Sisters
Right,
को तो
right,
पहले
right,
clue मिल जाता है. I did not say anything, but I just told her. तो ये बहुत अच्छी क्वालिटी की पटा लेते हैं. तो सिस्टर को भी पटा लिया. अब सिस्टर तो मतलब माई सिस्टर वॉज मोर टॉकिंग टू हिम.
अच्छा.
तो इन दोनों का जो भी प्लान वैन होता था मुझे लास्ट में पता होता था. तो आफ्टर शी गॉट मैरिड शी स्टार्टेड कन्विंसिंग माई फादर कि नेक्स्ट डे ऑनवर्ड्स माई डैड लाइक अ टिपिकल डैड वो मेट्रोमिनल खुलना शुरू हो गया मेरी सिस्टर की वेडिंग के नेक्स्ट डे. अब इसका नंबर लगाना है. सो इज टू बिलीव इन मांगलिक.
Okay.
कुंडली वगैरह में बिलीव करते हैं तो स्ट्रांगली मांगलिक है, और मांगलिक में बड़ा प्रॉब्लम होता है शादी वादी में. तो ही स्टार्टेड डूइंग हिज जॉब राइट फ्रॉम द नेक्स्ट डे. अब here my sister came in the way, और she started proposing कि यार पापा मतलब ये वैसे भी हॉट हेडेड है, इसका तो पता ही है आपको, इसका दिमाग कितना खराब है. पंजाबी फैमिली में तो वैसे भी नहीं सूट करने वाली है, लड़ लुड़ के आ जाएगी. you know how she is. वहां से she started building up. और उन्होंने मतलब हमारी कुंडली सब मैच करवा ली. एंड वो टेस्टिंग मे बी I would say क्योंकि I'm also strongly Manglik, he also turned out to be strongly Manglik. So
Okay.
हमारी कुंडलीज were like absolutely matching.
मतलब 36 गुण मिल रहे थे लिटरली.
So my
Wow.
father was like, oh, that's a bonus.
Wow. Excellent.
Marrying a Manglik girl becomes a problem for the parents.
Yes. Yes.
Those who believe in kundlis and all. कि
Yes.
इतना लंबा सर्च ये वो. So पटा लिया मेरे डैड को उन्होंने किसी तरीके से.
और फाइनली शादी हो गई.
शादी
Yes.
हो गई.
कहाँ हुई शादी?
दिल्ली में.
दिल्ली only.
दिल्ली में. Lovely. Congratulations.
Thank you.
बहुत साल पहले हुई, but still. And it's really nice to see कि आज हम मिले हैं to talk about autism, to talk about a tough journey you've been through, to talk about challenges. And some of the mothers that I've spoken to have talked about how traumatic that journey has been, कितना उनके लिए बुरा रहा है. And I'm sure you've faced your challenges, but it's so nice to see that we are starting off with such a pleasant memory and happiness. And I can see a set of parents who are happy, right? While they're dealing with their challenges, and we will talk about it, but at least your smiles and your happiness is beautiful. Hopefully, will give a lot of hope and positivity to the parents who are watching.
Yeah.
Right? So thank you so much for sharing this insight. 6th grade से जो आपने शुरू किया. So nice. So let's move on to the birth of your son, Sayyam. Right? Sayyam नाम है. Who's autistic. तो कब पता लगा? How did you feel? How did you diagnose? And how did you deal with it?
So Sayyam was born on 12th December 2007.
2007.
Just 2 years after marriage, he was born, and such a lovely child. I still remember उस दिन जब उसको हाथ में लिया हमने पहली बारी, उसके बहुत क्यूट डिम्पल्स पड़ते हैं गालों पे, अभी भी पड़ते हैं. वेरी क्यूट चाइल्ड. इट वॉज लाइक ए ड्रीम कम ट्रू. हम लोग प्रिपेयर कर रहे थे इस मोमेंट के लिए कब से कि जब पैदा होगा देखेंगे लड़का है कि लड़की है, क्या नाम रखेंगे, किसके जैसा दिखेगा. वो सारे सपने लेकर ही केम इनटू आवर आर्म्स. एंड ही वॉज ग्रोइंग ब्यूटिफुली. मतलब उसके 9 महीने तक की उसकी जो जर्नी थी वो बहुत बढ़िया चल रही थी. सारे माइलस्टोन्स अचीव कर रहा था. एवरीथिंग वॉज गोइंग ब्यूटिफुल. व्हेन ही वॉज 9-10 months old, ही फेल इल. उसको ब्रोंकाइटिस अटैक पड़ा एकदम. एंड आई वॉज इन ऑफिस. हमें पता भी नहीं लगा. मतलब पहला बच्चा है, वो रोए जा रहा है, तो हमें मालूम नहीं चल रहा कि क्या हुआ है उसके साथ. एंड देन राखी कॉल्ड अप दैट ही इज़ नॉट वेल, यू कम बैक फ्रॉम ऑफिस. आई केम. एंड जब तक हम लोग उसको हॉस्पिटल लेके गए उसके लिप्स ब्लू हो रहे थे, तो ऑक्सीजन की डिफिशियंसी हो गई थी. एंड देन ही गॉट हॉस्पिटलाइज्ड फॉर अ फ्यू डेज. उस प्रोसेस में वो थोड़ा सुस्त हो गया, स्लो हो गया. वो फिजिकली धीरे धीरे रिकवर करने लगा. एंड आई रिमेंबर हॉस्पिटल से जब हम वापस लौटे थे अचानक से उसको गैस्ट्रोइंटेस्टाइनल इन्फेक्शन हुआ. दैट वाज आल्सो वेरी सीवियर. सो आफ्टर दैट ही सॉर्ट ऑफ रिग्रेस्ड. जो बैबलिंग शुरू हुई थी वो बैबलिंग उसकी चली गई, आई कांटेक्ट उसका कम हो गया, बहुत सुस्त एक जगह बैठा रहता था. सो वी नोटिस दैट समथिंग इज ऑफ. वी थॉट लेकिन कोई नहीं, फिजिकली थोड़ा सा अभी हॉस्पिटल होके आया है, बीमार है, तो थोड़े टाइम में रिकवर कर जाएगा. एंड वी मेट आवर पीडियाट्रिशियन आफ्टर सम टाइम. पीडियाट्रिशियन ऑल्सो सेड कि नहीं कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, अभी आप फर्स्ट टाइम पेरेंट्स हो, आप परेशान हो रहे हो, ऐसा कुछ है नहीं. आई मीन ही सीम्स टू बी ओके, वो रिकवर कर जाएगा धीरे धीरे करके, अभी एक शॉक लगा है उसकी बॉडी को, विल बी फाइन. धीरे धीरे करके ना कुछ और सिम्टम्स नजर आने लगे हमें, विच वर अलार्मिंग फॉर अस. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, ही वॉज नॉट रिस्पॉन्डिंग टू हिज नेम विच ही यूज टू डू अर्लियर. उसको बुलाते थे तो वो पलट के नहीं देख रहा था, नॉट होल्डिंग आई कॉन्टैक्ट. एंड वहाँ पे हम लोग अलार्म होने शुरू हुए थोड़े से. एंड वी थॉट दैट विल गो फॉर सम सॉर्ट ऑफ असेसमेंट. हमें कुछ तो करना चाहिए एज अ पेरेंट, वी कांट जस्ट सिट आइडल. एंड वी हैड फैमिली मेम्बर्स हु वर सेइंग कि तुम लोग बहुत ज़्यादा परेशान हो रहे हो यार, तुम क्यों इतना ज़्यादा सोच रहे हो, बच्चे तो देर में बोलते हैं, लड़के तो स्पेशली देर में बोलते हैं 3 साल 4 साल की उम्र में, तुम परेशान मत हो. आर वरी वॉज दैट नॉट ओनली दैट ही वॉज नॉट स्पीकिंग, आर वरी वॉज दैट वो रिस्पॉन्ड नहीं कर रहा है.
Right.
वो सुन सकता है, टीवी चलता है इधर से, वो उसको तुरंत वहाँ जाता है, लेकिन हम उसको नाम से बुला रहे हैं वो नहीं सुनता. दैट वॉज आवर वरी. सो वी गॉट द असेसमेंट डन फाइनली. And when the assessment was done, then the report came, we could not believe it. We never heard the word autism before that. Autism का ये भी नहीं पता था हमें, like many other parents. And it was a shock for us that how can something like this happen to our child? Is our child a special child? क्या exactly है, कुछ नहीं पता था उस बारे में. But it was shocking to see that.
How old was he?
He was 1 year 7 months at that point of time.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So moving on from there, initially, what I've heard from people is कि parents are in disbelief. कि नहीं हो ही नहीं सकता, किसी ने गलत diagnose कर दिया है, and all that kind of stuff. But finally, you have to believe what is the truth. And at that stage, different things happen. People react in different ways, right? So what was your reaction? How did you guys take it forward from there?
So I was a typical disbeliever, like you said. ये मेरे बच्चे की रिपोर्ट नहीं है, या तो डॉक्टर का दिमाग खराब है. आई मीन ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है, दिस इज टोटल बुलशिट.
Hmm.
And he went silent. So we both, so I was completely disbelieved, denial, and he went into researching about what is
अच्छा.
autism. And he used to, I remember office से और late आना शुरू कर दिया, because most of the times after office he was doing the research about autism. That time only Google was available. YouTube and all was not
Yeah,
that
yeah.
much. So yeah, he was छुट्टी वाले दिन भी, I used to, so there was silence between us actually. We were not talking to each other. We were doing whatever doctor said. जाना शुरू कर दिया, pre-speech therapy and whatever they said. But then there was a silence. He was busy in his own world. He was keeping himself busy researching, which I don't know about, and I was doing my part physically, but I was numb. So this continued for about a few months, and same की features उसके बाद में और ज़्यादा issues नज़र आने लगे. He started doing toe walking, hand flapping, instruction following नहीं था, तो whatever he would see, he would start doing. पूरे घर के shoes, sandals एक line में उठाकर arrange करने तक लगता था. And then one fine day when I came from office, I saw him, हमारे important papers रखे थे. He was tearing bit by bit. तो इतना बड़ा ढेर लग गया था पूरा room में. And he was sitting in the middle of that big heap of paper and still tearing up. मैंने मना किया उसको. I remember I said no, stop, but he was doing. He was not ready to take up any instruction. And that day I just broke down. I could not handle that because मुझे समझ नहीं आया how to handle it, and we were not speaking also, and it was too much of emotional burden for me at that day. So I just broke down. And when I started seeing him, he was coming back from office. He saw me sitting there, and
it was shattering. It was shattering to see her like that and see Sayam like that. I have always believed, बचपन से ही मुझे पता था, she is a very strong lady. She is a strong girl. मतलब she doesn't break down very easily. And उस दिन जब मैंने रोते हुए देखा इसको बच्चों की तरह, and I saw Sayam what he is doing, it was shattering for me as well. And it was difficult to take at what's happening with my child, what's happening with my family. It was hard. सो उस मोमेंट पे देन समथिंग हैपेंड. मतलब इतने टाइम से मैं बात नहीं कर रहा था राखी से, एंड आई वाज इनटू माय रिसर्च एंड आई वाज वरिंग एक्चुअली. रिसर्च करता था तो और यही देखता था कि ऐसे बच्चों का फ्यूचर क्या होता है, इंडिपेंडेंट होंगे कभी कि नहीं होंगे. एंड मोर आई रिसर्च मोर आई गॉट अफ्रेड, क्योंकि ऐसी ऐसी चीज़ें इंटरनेट पे नज़र आती थी विच यूज टू गिव मी वरी. एंड जो मुझे लगता था अगर मैं राखी के साथ शेयर करूंगा तो वो बिल्कुल टूट जाएंगे हम दोनों. वो डर अंदर अंदर बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ गया था. बट ऑन दैट डे व्हेन आई सॉ हर ऑलरेडी ब्रोकन एंड आई सॉ दैट अब इससे ज़्यादा क्या आएगा, एंड शी नीड्स मी एंड वी नीड टू बी टुगेदर इन दिस. शी कांट टेक इट अलोन. आई हैव टू बी देयर. हमारा बच्चा है, हम दोनों ने पैदा किया है, हम दोनों की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है इसको टेक केयर करना. So that moment when I held her hand, I don't know what happened to me, but I started crying like anything. And I remember very few times in my life, till that portion, very few times in my life I would have cried. मुझे बचपन से हम लोगों को सोसाइटी में सिखाया जाता है ना, हिंदुस्तान में तो स्पेशली, कि आप क्यों क्या लड़कियों की तरह रो रहे हैं, हाँ, आदमी थोड़ा रोते हैं, यू हैव टू बी स्ट्रांग. So that was the moment when I literally held her hand, cried. We both cried for hours. And we shared each other's thought process, world, क्या चल रहा है अंदर, क्या डर है, क्या apprehensions हैं, क्या doubts हैं. Everything we talked about it. The moment we talked about it, that was the moment when we could understand, okay, we have a situation here. अभी है तो है, अब क्या कर सकते हैं, या तो इसको हम नकार सकते हैं कि नहीं है कुछ, कब तक डिनाइल में रहेंगे, और वी हैव द अपॉर्चुनिटी कि चलो अब लेट्स एक्सेप्ट दिस, कि हाँ ऑटिज्म है, अब देखना है हमने करना क्या है. इट वॉज लाइक कि मेरे को यहाँ पे चोट लगी है, कट लगा है, और मैं अगर इसको छुपा लेता हूँ तो वर्स ही होगा ना. अगर एक्सेप्ट कर लेता हूँ कि हाँ लगी है तो डॉक्टर के पास भी ले जाऊंगा, बैंडेड भी लगा लेंगे, ठीक हो जाएगा. We thought let's take a chance. Let's accept it that it is there. That was one of the major turning points for us. When we both came together, when our worlds came together, we thought okay, let's do it together. हमारा बच्चा है, हम देख लेंगे क्या करना है. Beautiful. So that was very.
And he was about a year and
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
2 years.
2 years at
Okay.
that point of time.
After 1 year, 7 months, this continued for a few months, the silence and all. And then after 2 years, he turned 2. Then we approximately. So then that was the turning point, I think, in our journey. उससे पहले तो denial, cursing, complaining God. How can this happen to me? मैंने क्या गलत किया, bad karmas, what bad did I do? All of that happened actually. A lot of mental trauma, basically. Torturing ourselves rather than, dealing with what's there outside. Your baby is in front of you. There are challenges to deal with. उसकी जगह सब mental, emotional, because I think that happens with.
I guess internally both of you were going through the same thing. Externally, his way of dealing with it was to do research and find information and figure out what to do.
More fearful. That's why doing research, future क्या होगा, and I was like,
And you said you were doing part and puja and.
Yeah, वो तो पाठ पूजा नहीं कर रही थी, rather मैं.
अच्छा.
मतलब I was like started cursing God and complaining कि how the hell this happened to me. What bad karmas, because something like we had never heard of it.
Right.
Nobody in my family is like that. I was a topper,
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, both of you were academically very bright. Yeah.
Then how can this happen to me? So no part puja.
Yeah.
But rather cursing God, complaining to God, and everything possible that
Right.
you can think of.
Right.
All of that happened.
Right.
So all that rage was there. बहुत गुस्सा था. Complaints थी, but बहुत ज़्यादा गुस्सा था मुझे तो, and he was more fearful about future, the kind of future that that's there, that होगा क्या मेरे बच्चे ना
Yeah,
आगे
yeah.
जाए. So all of that happened.
Very understandable. And then what happens? मतलब how did you or how do people deal with it at 2 years, 2.5 years? जब आप accept कर लिया, समझ में आ गया, then what did you do? उसके बाद कैसे deal किया इस चीज से? I mean, did you guys
Yeah.
keep somebody to take care of him? Did you take easier job? How did you manage his journey? School admission?
Yeah.
Schools लेते हैं admission? क्या होता है?
So before that, I would say I would like to share one incident
Sure.
which was again another turning point for us. We were going to अब पता लग गया and we accepted as well. उसके बाद whatever we could do, we were doing. Somebody said meet this doctor, start this medicine. We were doing that, and we met a lot of doctors. हर stream में हर जगह हम संयम को लेके जा रहे थे. And 16 years back, you can understand what 15 years
yeah.
back, what was the situation. Nobody in India hardly knew about autism.
Correct.
And doctors would say that, okay, your child has autism, then you need to be better prepared for certain things. For example, I remember हम लोग एक we went to a very renowned, I won't name the institute, but institute in Delhi.
Sure.
And there the counselors sat with us and she was telling us that your child has autism. He will never speak. He will never be independent in his life. You better learn the sign language so that you learn to communicate with him. And then on top of that, they showed us some adults, 18 साल 20 साल 22 साल के लोग जो कि टॉयलेट नीड्स के लिए भी ट्रेन नहीं थे, who needed support for their daily living things. They said, this is the future that your child may live. Now you need to be strong to take care of that. Now seeing that obviously and even thinking about that for our own child is it's a very heartbreaking experience. So again we remember that we came out crying out of that institution, and these were experts with years of knowledge into the domain and telling us this thing. We had two choices at that moment. This was the second turning point in our life. One choice was to कि हम मान लें जो बोल रहे हैं as an expert, and then जो हम थोड़ा बहुत कर सकते हैं तो वो करते रहेंगे, बाकी जो होगा बच्चे के साथ होगा. Second was that our child will live the life we decide for our child and not what these guys are saying. We intentionally opted to go for the second choice. And we said अब जो हो जाए, हम लोगों को जो करना पड़े देखेंगे, बट हमारा बच्चा वो जिंदगी जिएगा जो हम चाहेंगे, वो जिंदगी नहीं जिएगा जो कोई और कह रहा है. एंड देन वी टुक ऑन कि अब देखा जाएगा, फाइनेंशियली भी देखा जाएगा, थेरेपीज करानी है वो देखा जाएगा, क्या कराना है हमको नहीं पता, लेकिन हमारा बच्चा इंडिपेंडेंट होगा पूरी तरीके से. ना सिर्फ अपनी
Nobody else can tell us the kind of life my child is gonna live. We will decide the kind of life our child is gonna live.
Wow.
That's it.
एंड ट्रस्ट अस, आफ्टर दैट मोमेंट टिल टुडे एक बार भी, एक सेकंड के लिए भी एक आयोटा ऑफ डाउट हम लोगों ने अपने माइंड में नहीं आने दिया that our child will not live an independent life. We believed it and then we worked towards it.
Beautiful. Wow. Amazing. You're inspirational people. So nice to hear this.